You've been in the industry for a long time. When would you say that just the sound changed as a whole?
Around 2007, 8.
2007.
Around 2007, 8, around that area. You know what I mean? Around that area, because at one point what had happened was it went from crunk to trap. Like crunk had a short span, like with Little John, and you know what I'm saying, as far as like the impact, but then there was Jeezy and T.I. with, you know, they came in with, they had a name for their style of music, and that's, I think, for so many years it was just like, okay, cool, it's hip hop music, it's this, it's that. When trap came out, it was like it gave a certain region or certain regions their own identity, and I think that's why it was so powerful, because for years, New York was kind of like the dude walking around with his chest high, like, yo, we started hip hop, we did this, we did that. And then the South came around and said, all right, cool, we're not going to do it the way y'all did it, but we're going to do it like this, and this is the name of it. Yeah. And we're going to make it so crazy that y'all going to feel like you have to fuck with it in order to be successful. And that shit happened for years, you know what I mean? Like, I watched New York artists who wouldn't even have known how to approach a trap record, start trying to make trap records because they felt like that was their only way to stay in the game, and the shit almost became disgusting to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, I salute the South and all the regions that was pushing trap heavy or drill music or whatever it was. I respect that because that's your sound. You know what I mean? I can understand you being tired of having to use somebody else's sound to get on. You know what I mean? Like, I know the South was tight back in the day when they had to make quote-unquote hip-hop records to try to pop because that probably wasn't their thing. But now that like you have Migos and you have... a bunch of Young Thug artists of that nature. That's cool for them. But then when there's a dude out of the middle of Brooklyn
sounding like that,
sounding like Migos, it's hard for me because I understand you listen to the radio and that's probably what you grew up to. But I'm just from a time where creativity was everything. You know what I mean? Where you went into the studio and you tried to figure out how not to sound like the next person. Now it's like, how can I sound as much like that person as possible? You know what I mean? That's what the game has come to now. So even for me, with the type of music I make, when certain artists come in my studio and they tell me they want beats, I gotta let them know, like, yo, I don't make trap music, right? Like, this, I don't want either one of us to be misled going into this. I make soul music, and I make a bunch of different variations of soul music, but my music is strictly based on feel. I'm not going to trap it out for you. I'm not going to take a classic record and put trap drums on it. Like I heard some dude the other day played I'm Ready. He redid I'm Ready and put trap drums on it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
like,
that couldn't sound right.
It wasn't meant for that. You know what I'm saying? I just believe, it's like another dude just put out Dipset Anthem, his version, and put trap drums on it. And I'm like, where's the creativity? You took the way I chopped the sample up exactly and just put drums on it. Like, what?
Yeah.
You understand? Like, how does that make you feel like, as the producer, how can you tell somebody I made this beat? You didn't make that beat. Like, granted, people will be like, yo, but you sample. Yes, but if you listen to the way I sample and take shit apart and put it back together. You know what I mean? Like,
that's creativity.
Right. You listen to any record, it's not going to sound like that when you play it back before I did anything to it. You understand? Like, if you play the original sample of, we pick any record off El Capo, if you take Crystal Occasion. I mean, obviously a lot of people won't know where that sample came from. I won't tell them, but you would never know. You know what I'm saying? It's chopping it up and rearranging and doing a bunch of shit, and that's creativity to me. I don't believe that you take somebody else's work. Like, if I ever take something that, let's say I took something somebody else did, and I don't change it enough, I'm telling people, nah, I just looped it up and I put it out. I don't even put the Heatmaker's tag on it, because at the end of the day, I didn't do nothing to it. I'm not trying to take credit for something that stayed the same.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people don't think like that now. It goes back to what I said before. People just want to get in the door. They don't give a fuck how they get in the door. They don't realize that when you get in the door, you actually got to stay, or else it didn't make sense for you to get in if you can't stay. And a lot of dudes can't stay. They don't know how to, like, when the light is on them, they don't know how to lead the way, because they've never been creative. They've always followed the lead. So now when they're in the lead, they don't know what to do. They're confused.